An earthquake is a sudden shaking of the ground caused by the movement of tectonic plates beneath the Earth's surface. These movements occur along faults or fractures in the Earth's crust where stress builds up over time due to plate interactions. When the stress exceeds the strength of the rocks, it is released as seismic energy, resulting in an earthquake. The point within the Earth where the rupture starts is called the focus, and the location directly above it on the surface is the epicenter. Earthquakes can also trigger secondary disasters such as landslides, tsunamis, and fires, further increasing their destructiveness. Earthquakes can be incredibly deadly and destructive depending on their magnitude, depth, population density, and infrastructure preparedness. They can collapse buildings, destroy roads and bridges, and leave thousands homeless. On average, earthquakes kill about 10,000 people worldwide each year, but this number can vary greatly depending on the severity of events in a given year. Earthquake-prone regions include areas near tectonic plate boundaries, such as the Pacific Ring of Fire, which affects countries like Japan, Indonesia, Chile, and the west coast of the United States. Some of the deadliest earthquakes in history include the 2004 Indian Ocean earthquake and tsunami, which killed over 230,000 people across multiple countries, and the 2010 Haiti earthquake, which claimed over 160,000 lives and devastated Port-au-Prince. Another significant example is the 1976 Tangshan earthquake in China, which killed an estimated 242,000 people. Earthquakes are measured on the moment magnitude scale, formerly known as the Richter scale, and magnitudes above 7.0 are considered major quakes. While scientists can't predict exactly when an earthquake will strike, earthquake-resistant building designs can help with limiting their destructive potential. Avalanches. An avalanche is a sudden and rapid flow of snow, ice, and debris down a mountainside. Avalanches form when layers of snow accumulate on a slope and one of those layers becomes unstable. Factors such as heavy snowfall, rapid temperature changes, wind-deposited snow, and the presence of weak snowpack layers contribute to instability. When the weight of the snow exceeds the strength holding it in place, the slope can collapse, releasing massive amounts of snow in seconds. Human activities like skiing, snowboarding, or snowmobiling can also trigger avalanches, especially in unstable conditions. Avalanches can be extremely destructive and deadly. They move at speeds up to 80 miles an hour or more and can bury everything in their path under tons of snow. The force of a large avalanche can snap trees, crush buildings, and sweep away vehicles and people. Victims caught in an avalanche risk suffocation, trauma, and hypothermia. On average, avalanches kill around 150 people globally each year. Avalanches are most prominent in mountainous regions with heavy snowfall, such as the Alps in Europe, the Rocky Mountains in North America, the Himalayas in Asia, and the Andes in South America. Some of the deadliest avalanches in history include the 1970 Huascarán avalanche in Peru, triggered by an earthquake, which killed an estimated 20,000 people, and a series of avalanches during World War I in the Alps, which resulted in the deaths of around 10,000 soldiers. Preventing avalanche fatalities involves careful monitoring of snow conditions and the use of forecasting and warning systems. Despite advances in safety equipment and awareness, avalanches remain a powerful and unpredictable force of nature. Climate change. Climate change is a long-term shift in global or regional climate patterns, primarily driven by the increase of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere due to human activities, such as burning fossil fuels, deforestation, and industrial processes. The buildup of carbon dioxide, methane, and other pollutants traps heat in the Earth's atmosphere, leading to global warming. This warming affects weather systems, ocean currents, and ecosystems around the world, resulting in more frequent and intense natural disasters such as hurricanes, droughts, floods, wildfires, and heat waves. Unlike sudden natural disasters, climate change is a slow but relentless global phenomenon that causes widespread and often irreversible damage. It contributes to rising sea levels, loss of biodiversity, desertification, and extreme weather events. These impacts directly and indirectly threaten human life, health, food security, and water supply. According to the World Health Organization, climate change is estimated to cause over 150,000 deaths annually, a number expected to rise significantly as global temperatures continue to increase. The most vulnerable populations, such as those in low-income or coastal regions, are disproportionately affected due to limited resources and infrastructure. Climate change is most prominent in areas with fragile ecosystems or those prone to climate-related hazards. For instance, small island nations like the Maldives face the threat of complete submersion due to rising sea levels. In 2003, a record-breaking heat wave in Europe caused the death of more than 70,000 people, one of the deadliest climate-related events in recent history. Combating climate change requires global cooperation, the reduction of greenhouse gas emissions, renewable energy development, and adaptation strategies to protect communities. It is one of the most pressing and complex threats facing humanity today. A sandstorm is a weather event characterized by strong winds that lift and carry loose sand and dust from the ground into the atmosphere, significantly reducing visibility and creating hazardous conditions. Sandstorms typically form in dry regions where vegetation is sparse and loose particles are easily picked up by the wind. When high-speed winds sweep across dry landscapes, especially during thunderstorms or shifting pressure systems, they lift massive amounts of dust and sand into the air. The abrasive particles carried by the wind can cause respiratory issues, skin irritation, and eye damage. People with pre-existing health conditions are especially vulnerable. Sandstorms can also cause traffic accidents due to near-zero visibility and mechanical damage to vehicles, buildings, and infrastructure. Fine dust particles can infiltrate engines and electronics, leading to malfunctions and long-term wear. Although fatalities from sandstorms are relatively low compared to other natural disasters, they are responsible for hundreds of deaths and thousands of injuries each year, especially in regions with poor warning systems. Sandstorms are most prominent in desert regions such as the Middle East, North Africa, Central Asia, and parts of China. One of the most severe events in recent history occurred in China in March 2021, when a massive sandstorm swept across northern regions, including Beijing, turning skies orange and disrupting transportation. The 1930s Dust Bowl in the United States, though caused in part by poor farming practices, was defined by devastating dust storms that displaced thousands and caused numerous deaths. A supervolcano is an extremely powerful type of volcano, capable of producing eruptions thousands of times more explosive than typical volcanic eruptions. Unlike regular volcanoes, which often form in the shape of a mountain, supervolcanoes typically form large depressions called calderas after massive eruptions empty their underlying magma chambers, causing the land above to collapse. These eruptions occur when pressure from molten rock, or magma, builds up beneath the Earth's crust and is suddenly released in a catastrophic explosion. Because of the immense scale of these eruptions, supervolcanoes can drastically alter global climates and ecosystems. Supervolcano eruptions are incredibly rare, but immensely destructive. A single eruption can eject thousands of cubic kilometers of ash and lava, blanket entire regions in volcanic debris, disrupt global weather patterns, and trigger volcanic winters, periods of prolonged cooling due to sunlight being blocked by volcanic ash in the atmosphere. While supervolcanoes do not erupt frequently, their potential for mass destruction makes them one of the most dangerous natural threats on Earth. Supervolcanoes are most prominent in regions with significant tectonic or geothermal activity. Major sites include Yellowstone in the United States, the Taupo Volcanic Zone in New Zealand, and Lake Toba in Indonesia. One of the most devastating known supervolcano eruptions was the Toba eruption approximately 74,000 years ago, which is believed to have triggered a volcanic winter and may have caused a massive drop in human population. Scientists closely monitor known supervolcanoes for signs of activity. While eruptions are rare, their potential to disrupt life on a global scale highlights the importance of continued research and preparedness. A hurricane is a massive, rotating tropical storm system characterized by powerful winds, heavy rainfall, and low atmospheric pressure. Also known as tropical cyclones or typhoons, depending on their location, hurricanes form over warm ocean waters near the equator. They develop when moist air rises from the ocean's surface, creating a low-pressure area that draws in more warm air. As this cycle continues, the storm gains strength and begins to rotate due to the Coriolis effect. Once sustained winds reach at least 74 miles per hour, the storm is classified as a hurricane. Hurricanes can be extremely destructive and deadly, capable of leveling buildings, flooding entire regions, and causing widespread power outages. The strong winds can lead to storm surges, walls of water pushed inland from the ocean, which are often the most dangerous aspect of these storms. On average, hurricanes kill around 10,000 people globally each year, though this number varies depending on the severity of storm seasons and preparedness levels. The most vulnerable areas are coastal regions, particularly in the Atlantic, Pacific, and Indian Oceans. Hurricanes are most prominent in the Atlantic Ocean and the Gulf of Mexico, affecting the southeastern United States, the Caribbean, and Central America. In the western Pacific, they are known as typhoons and commonly impact Southeast Asia. Notable hurricanes include the 1900 Galveston hurricane in Texas, which killed an estimated 8,000 people. Hurricane Katrina in 2005, which resulted in over 1,800 deaths and massive devastation in New Orleans. Early warning systems, evacuation plans, and improved building codes have helped reduce fatalities, but hurricanes remain a major threat due to their immense power and unpredictable paths. Climate change is also believed to be increasing their intensity. A blizzard is a severe snowstorm characterized by strong sustained winds, low temperatures, and reduced visibility due to blowing snow. For a storm to be officially classified as a blizzard, it must meet specific criteria: winds of at least 35 miles per hour, visibility of a quarter mile or less, and these conditions must last for at least 3 hours. Blizzards form when cold air meets moist, warm air. The rising warm air cools and condenses, leading to snowfall, while strong pressure gradients create those high winds associated with these storms. The heavy snow and fierce winds can knock down trees and power lines, close roads, and paralyze transportation systems. Whiteout conditions can disorient people, making it easy to become lost even near shelter. Hypothermia and frostbite are serious risks for anyone exposed to the elements for extended periods. Roof collapses due to snow accumulation and carbon monoxide poisoning from improper indoor heating also contribute to fatalities. On average, blizzards and winter storms kill several dozen to a few hundred people each year, depending on their severity and region affected. Blizzards are most common in temperate and polar regions, particularly in North America, Northern Europe, and parts of Central and East Asia. One of the deadliest blizzards in U.S. history occurred in 1888. Known as the Great Blizzard of 1888, which killed over 400 people. Another severe storm, the 1993 Storm of the Century, affected 26 U.S. states and caused over 300 deaths. Preparation, early warnings, and proper winter infrastructure are essential to minimizing the deadly impact of blizzards in vulnerable areas. An asteroid impact is a rare but potentially catastrophic natural disaster that occurs when a space rock, known as an asteroid, enters Earth's atmosphere and collides with the surface. Asteroids are remnants from the early solar system, typically composed of rock, metal, or a combination of both. Most are located in the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter, but occasionally one is knocked out of orbit and sent on a path towards Earth. When a large asteroid enters Earth's atmosphere, it can travel at speeds exceeding 20,000 miles per hour. If it is large enough to survive the intense heat of atmospheric entry, it can cause devastating impacts. Asteroid impacts can release energy equivalent to thousands of nuclear bombs, causing massive explosions, shock waves, fires, and climate-altering effects. A sufficiently large impact could trigger global wildfires, tsunamis, earthquakes, and prolonged periods of darkness due to dust blocking sunlight. One of the most well-known asteroid impacts in history is the Chicxulub impact, which occurred about 66 million years ago on the Yucatan Peninsula in present-day Mexico. It is widely believed to have caused the mass extinction that wiped out the dinosaurs and many other species. In 2013, a smaller asteroid exploded over Chelyabinsk, Russia, injuring over 1,500 people. To mitigate this threat, astronomers constantly monitor near-Earth objects. Efforts are underway to develop deflection strategies that could redirect hazardous asteroids away from Earth, ensuring preparedness against one of nature's most unpredictable dangers. Pandemics are widespread outbreaks of infectious diseases that affect populations across multiple countries or continents. They occur when a new pathogen, typically a virus, emerges, spreads easily between people, and finds a population with little to no pre-existing immunity. These diseases often originate in animals and jump to humans, a process known as zoonotic spillover. Global travel, urbanization, and interconnected economies can accelerate the spread of pandemics, turning local outbreaks into worldwide crisis in a matter of weeks. The destructive power of pandemics lies not only in the high number of infections and deaths, but also in their social, economic, and psychological impacts. They can overwhelm healthcare systems, shut down economies, disrupt supply chains, and strain governments. Unlike most natural disasters, pandemics can persist for months or years and affect people regardless of geography, although low-income and densely populated regions often suffer the most. The number of deaths caused by pandemics can vary greatly, but in some years, pandemic-related diseases such as influenza, HIV/AIDS, or COVID-19 can kill millions. On average, infectious diseases cause several hundred thousands to over 1 million deaths globally each year, depending on the outbreak. Historically, some of the most deadly pandemics include the Black Plague in the 14th century, which killed an estimated 75 to 200 million people, and the 1918 Spanish flu, which infected a third of the global population and killed at least 50 million. More recently, the COVID-19 pandemic, beginning in late 2019, resulted in over 6 million confirmed deaths worldwide by 2023, though the actual toll is likely much higher. Because of the potential for rapid spread and high mortality, pandemics remain a major global threat. Ongoing disease surveillance, investment in public health infrastructure, vaccine development, and international cooperation are critical to preventing and managing future outbreaks. A tornado is a violently rotating column of air that extends from a thunderstorm to the ground, capable of immense destruction in a short period of time. Tornadoes form when warm, moist air near the ground meets cold, dry air, creating instability in the atmosphere. When this unstable air mass is accompanied by strong wind shear, changes in wind direction, and speed with height, it can produce a horizontal spinning effect. If this rotating air is lifted by a thunderstorm's updraft, it can tilt vertically and intensify, eventually forming a tornado. Tornadoes vary widely in strength and size, from weak twisters lasting only minutes to massive, long-track tornadoes that can level entire towns. They are rated on the Enhanced Fujita (EF) scale, from EF0 being the weakest to EF5 being the strongest. Tornadoes can have wind speeds exceeding 200 miles per hour and leave a trail of devastation, destroying homes, uprooting trees, and tossing vehicles like toys. On average, tornadoes kill around 100 people per year worldwide. Tornadoes are most common in the United States, particularly in an area known as Tornado Alley, which includes parts of Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, and Nebraska. However, they also occur in Canada, Argentina, Bangladesh, and parts of Europe and Australia. Some of the deadliest tornadoes in history include the tri-state tornado of 1925 in the US, which killed nearly 700 people, and the 1989 Dulatpur Satoria tornado in Bangladesh, which killed approximately 1,300 people, making it the deadliest on record. Preparedness and early warning systems have greatly reduced tornado-related fatalities in many countries. Despite their short duration, tornadoes remain one of nature's most intense and unpredictable threats. Floods. Floods are among the most common and deadly natural disasters, occurring when water overflows onto normally dry land. They can form from heavy rainfall, rapid snowmelt, hurricanes, dam failures, or the overflow of rivers. When the volume of water exceeds the land's ability to absorb or drain it, flooding occurs, overwhelming homes, roads, and infrastructure. There are different types of floods, including flash floods, river floods, coastal floods, and urban floods, each with varying levels of danger and duration. Floods can be extremely destructive and life-threatening. They can sweep away vehicles, destroy buildings, contaminate drinking water, trigger landslides, and spread diseases such as cholera and dysentery. Flash floods, which develop rapidly within minutes or hours of intense rainfall, are particularly dangerous due to their sudden onset and powerful currents. Globally, floods kill an estimated 5,000 to 10,000 people per year, although numbers vary significantly depending on geography, infrastructure, and preparedness. Floods are most prominent in low-lying areas, river valleys, tropical regions, and densely populated urban zones. Countries in South and Southeast Asia, such as Bangladesh, India, China, and the Philippines, experience frequent and deadly flooding due to monsoons and typhoons. One of the deadliest floods in recorded history was the 1931 China floods, which are estimated to have killed between 1 and 4 million people, making it one of the worst natural disasters ever. More recently, the 2010 Pakistan floods displaced over 20 million people and caused more than 1,700 deaths. Climate change is expected to increase the frequency and severity of floods due to rising sea levels and more intense storms. Wildfires are uncontrolled fires that rapidly spread across vegetation, forests, grasslands, and residential areas. They are ignited by both natural and human causes. Lightning strikes are a common natural cause, while human activities such as unattended campfires, discarded cigarettes, power line failures, and arson are frequent man-made triggers. Once ignited, wildfires are fueled by dry vegetation, high temperatures, low humidity, and strong winds, allowing them to expand rapidly and unpredictably. Wildfires can be immensely destructive and deadly. They consume vast areas of land, destroy homes, displace wildlife, pollute air quality, and pose serious health risks to people, especially those with respiratory issues. In addition to the flames themselves, smoke inhalation and heat can lead to injury or death. Wildfires are responsible for thousands of deaths annually, though exact numbers vary each year depending on the severity of the wildfire season. In recent years, wildfires have caused between 300 and 400 direct fatalities per year. Wildfires are most common in regions with hot, dry climates and flammable vegetation, including the western United States, Australia, parts of southern Europe, Canada, and the Amazon rainforest. One of the deadliest wildfires in history was the 1871 Peshtigo fire in Wisconsin, which killed over 1,500 people. Most recently, the 2018 Camp Fire in California became the state's most destructive and deadliest wildfire, killing 85 people and destroying nearly 19,000 buildings. Climate change plays a significant role in the increasing frequency and intensity of wildfires by creating hotter, drier conditions and extending fire season. To mitigate wildfire damage, efforts include controlled burns, fire breaks, early detection systems, and community evacuation planning. However, as climate conditions worsen, wildfires remain one of the most serious and growing natural threats globally. Sinkholes. Sinkholes are sudden holes in the ground that form when the surface layer collapses due to the erosion or dissolution of underlying rock, typically limestone, gypsum, or salt. These rocks are easily dissolved by groundwater, especially in areas with high rainfall or poorly managed drainage. Over time, underground cavities can grow so large that they can no longer support the weight above, causing the ground to cave in abruptly. This geological process is known as subsidence and can occur naturally or be accelerated by human activities such as groundwater extraction, drilling, mining, and construction. While many sinkholes are small and harmless, large ones can be extremely destructive or even deadly. They can swallow homes, roads, vehicles, and infrastructure in seconds, often with little or no warning. Sinkholes are most common in the United States, especially Florida, Texas, and Kentucky, parts of China, Mexico, Italy, and the Middle East. One notable and deadly example occurred in Guatemala City in 2010, when a massive sinkhole swallowed a 3-story building, killing at least 15 people. Another tragic case happened in 2013 in Florida, when a man was killed after a sinkhole opened beneath his bedroom and he was never recovered. Monitoring groundwater levels, regulating land use, and improving construction practices are key to reducing sinkhole hazards and protecting communities from these sudden and unpredictable events. Droughts are prolonged periods of abnormally low precipitation that result in water shortages, significantly impacting agriculture, ecosystems, and human life. Unlike sudden disasters like earthquakes or floods, Droughts develop slowly over weeks, months, or even years. They can be caused by a variety of natural and human factors, including changes in weather patterns, deforestation, and climate change. When regions experience reduced rainfall over an extended period, soil moisture diminishes, rivers and lakes dry up, and crop failures can lead to food shortages and famine. Droughts can cripple agriculture economies, cause mass starvation, lead to forced migration, and even spark political instability and conflict over resources. Globally, droughts are responsible for more deaths than most other natural disasters. According to the United Nations, droughts have affected more people worldwide in the past century than any other hazard, killing an estimated 650,000 people between 1970 and 2019. Today, an average of 45,000 to 50,000 people die annually due to drought-related causes, particularly in developing countries where food and water insecurity are more severe. Droughts are most common in dry regions such as sub-Saharan Africa, parts of the Middle East, South Asia, Australia, and the southwestern United States. Among the deadliest droughts in recorded history was the Dust Bowl of the 1930s in the United States. Even more catastrophic was the 1983 to 1985 Ethiopian drought, which contributed to a famine that killed around 1 million people. As climate change intensifies, droughts are expected to become more frequent and severe, posing increasing threats to global food security and human survival in vulnerable regions. Landslides are natural disasters that occur when masses of rock, earth, or debris move down a slope under the force of gravity. They can be triggered by a variety of natural and human-induced factors, including heavy rainfall, earthquakes, volcanic activity, rapid snowmelt, deforestation, mining, and construction that destabilizes the land. The risk increases significantly in areas with steep terrain, loose or saturated soil, and insufficient vegetation to hold the ground in place. While some landslides happen suddenly, others develop slowly over time, with early warning systems often missed or ignored. Landslides can be incredibly destructive and deadly. They destroy homes, roads, infrastructure, and farmland, and can bury entire communities with little warning. The suddenness and force of a major landslide can make it difficult for people to escape, leading to high fatality rates. On average, landslides are responsible for approximately 4,000 to 5,000 deaths worldwide each year, though this number can spike significantly during major events. Asia is particularly prone to deadly landslides due to a combination of monsoons, mountainous terrain, and densely populated regions. Countries like Nepal, India, China, the Philippines, and Indonesia regularly experience fatal landslides. One of the deadliest landslides in recorded history occurred in Vargas, Venezuela in 1999 when torrential rains triggered massive mudslides that killed an estimated 10,000 to 30,000 people. Another devastating example is the 2008 landslide in the Sichuan province of China, which was triggered by the Wenchuan earthquake and killed thousands. Climate change is expected to increase landslide risks through more intense rainfall and extreme weather. As urban development expands into landslide-prone areas, the need for early warning systems, sustainable land management, and community preparedness becomes increasingly urgent to reduce the human and economic toll of these disasters. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments if you would like to see a part 2 or more videos like this one. Thanks again, goodbye!